Now I'm going to broach something very sensitive in regards to the Bible. So for those of you who do not want to have a logical Bible discussion or want to discuss some of the things in it, please click off this video and move on elsewhere. I totally understand. There are some people in this world who believe in the Bible, so they say, but they don't believe in the lessons that are in it. Let me explain. Now, I believe in the Bible, and I believe what it has to offer as far as guidelines to live a fruitful life. Our creation, how we should treat people, we should conduct ourselves. I believe in that. And there are a lot of stories in the Bible that show us how we need to conduct ourselves as far as having not only a fruitful physical relationship, but a fruitful mental and spiritual relationship and be connected with the Most High. It's a guide. It teaches us. But there are some people in this world who will spout Bible verses all day long but don't believe a single word of them because of the way they live. Now I'm going to tell you, I spoke in a previous audio about age versus availability, where people feel in society you have to be a certain age and you should have accomplished certain things. Do you know that that is contrary to what's in the Bible? Did you know that? For you to declare that somebody should have or be at a certain mental, physical, or financial state at a certain age, that is contrary to what the Bible is teaching. How many stories in the Bible talk about how people have been blessed by God at different ages? And the first one that comes to mind is the person Abraham. How old was Abraham before he finally decided to make his peace with God and be blessed? He wasn't 20 or 30 or 40 years old, believe me. And I can just imagine what it was like for him when he was 20 or 30 years old, still trying to figure shit out. He probably had a lot of family and friends and everything else that was around him trying to tell him that something was wrong with him. They had resigned it to the fact that that person was mental and going through this and going through that. They were probably outcast or talked down on or treated less than. See, I'm talking to somebody today because somebody right now is going through this. But see, society is telling us, oh, well, they're 50, 60 years old, da. That's not necessarily true, people. And I was one of those people. I was programmed to believe that. But see, now that I look and I see what the Bible is showing people, that flies in the face of what the Bible is saying. And there are people in churches right now that are preaching this, but they turn around and they go home and they act contrary to what the Bible tells them to do. Society also tells you that you got to go along to get along. I used to hate that phrase. Because, see, I wasn't born under normal circumstances, and I darn sure wasn't raised under normal circumstances like everybody else. And when I got a certain age, I was told by my parents that I have to go along to get along and be like everyone else. Can you imagine how confusing that shit is? How confusing it is. How are you going to tell me how to get along with everybody else and be like everybody else when you didn't raise me to be like everybody else? So you're basically just going to throw me to the wolves now? It doesn't work that way. And society tells you got to look a certain way, you got to be a certain way, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that in order to fit in with everybody else. Have you seen what everybody else is going through? There was a minister at a church that I attended a long time ago. He used to say, if you try to do what everybody else does, you're going to wind up with everybody else's problems. And he told the truth right then and there. See, that flies in the face of the Bible as well, because a lot of people who follow God did not fit in with everybody else. John the Baptist was a good example. He was considered a bum. He was considered a nutcase because he used to eat locusts and honey. And if you don't know what a locust is, that's a bug. He was very unkempt. He used to wear animal skins. He didn't look like everybody else, but he was a man of God, and he was not afraid to speak his truth, and he certainly wasn't afraid to get in anybody's face. And because of that, that stirred up the demons in a lot of people, and they went after him. But the short time that he was here, he made a point. See, nowadays we would look at somebody like, oh, they're bummed, they're crazy, da 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 da, because they look different. Just because somebody chooses to be different, do something different. Not hurting anybody. Not being a menace to society, just choosing a different path. It could be something as different as a career. Some of you come from a family right now where everybody in the family is storekeepers. So it is assumed because you come into the world, you're going to be a storekeeper. You were probably groomed by the time you were 3 or 4 years old how to run the cash register and run the store. But then you go to college, you take up finance or business management so you can run the store. And then the first year in college, you realize you don't want to be a storekeeper. You want to be a teacher. You want to be an engineer. You want to do something that's different than being a storekeeper. You go back to your parents and you tell your parents, I don't want to be a storekeeper anymore. All of a sudden, you're not their child. All of a sudden, the demons come out. See, when you come out and declare that you're going to do something different than the fold, you really find out who is on your side, and you really find out the character of the people that you're dealing with. Because they're going to show their ass. And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, it is parents. Or you have these little slick ones that claim that they support you, but every time they have a chance to talk to you, they're always talking about what you could be and what you should be. Or you could have been this, or you could have done that. Low-key hating on you, low-key criticizing you. So you got to be careful of those people too. Normal ain't normal nowadays, people. And unfortunately, you got people that are running around here that are claiming that they're chosen and claiming they're enlightened and high priestess this and this, that, and the other, and claimers of God and spiritualism and everything else. And they paint the perfect picture of what everybody else looks like out here. They look just like everybody else. And when that camera is off, when that audio is off, when the attention is not focused on him and focused on them, and they get behind closed doors, they wind up acting and doing the same shit that everybody else is doing. That's hypocrisy, people. So the next time that you decide that you are going to just do what you want to do and you're going to prescribe to society's norms, you better pick up that Bible and see what the Word has to say about that if you're a Bible believer, if you're a Quran believer, if you're a Torah believer, if you're a believer in whatever scripture that you read, or if whatever meditation or mantra that you prescribe to. Are you living those words? Because, see, you might not think it's a big deal to fake the front, but see, when you go out into the world and you proclaim these things, other people are looking at you. And just because they don't call you out on your shit right away, they're thinking in the back of their mind, yeah, he claimed he's a Muslim, but I saw him over at the club such and such with such and such doing such and such. Eating ham sandwiches and drinking Mai Tais. Or, just drunk and out of control. Or in the streets hustling, selling drugs, doing drugs. Prostituting. But will turn around and say that they're a Muslim. Turn around and say that they're Orthodox Jew. Turn around and say that they're a Pentecostal Christian. And just because somebody doesn't call you out on it, have you forgotten that the Word says that God is everywhere? Who are you trying to fool? Now, I'm going to keep this a short one today. But people, believe what you read. If you don't believe it, then don't read it. Don't proclaim it. Believe me, the world's not going to trip over it. But how your Creator might feel about it, that might be a different story. So with that being said, I'm going to let you guys go. Peace.